Hey everybody, David the AI Guide here on Sunday this week because it took me a little extra time to pull together today's video, and you'll see why in a minute. Today we're going to talk about AI breakthroughs in the medical area. And I'm going to give you three examples, and those three examples show how broadly AI is being applied now in medicine and how amazing the results are in terms of speeding things up and making them cheaper than they used to be. So our first example of medical AI is new drug development. And there's a company called In Silico Medicine who's using what are called GANs. That's a generative adversarial network. So it's two competing algorithms in a network that are competing against each other to learn how to build a new drug in this case. And this is breakthrough, GANs are breakthrough technology that was not possible before neural nets and deep learning. But what they're using these GANs for is to identify drug candidates for specific diseases. In this case, a company called In Silico Medicine is using it to develop a drug for fibrosis, which is scar tissue building up on organs. And that scar tissue complicates the healing process, as you might imagine. You want a healing after surgery or something like that to go smoothly and not create unnecessary scar tissue that could cause further complications from the surgery. So a typical drug takes 10 years and about US $2.6 billion to develop. And what they were able to do with this GANs is come up with a candidate drug in months, like 3 months. So what does this mean? Well, it means a lot of things. First of all, if you can come up with a viable drug candidate that advances to testing in mice in 3 months versus, let's say, 3 to 4 years, that is a 10 times improvement in time to develop new drugs, which is, the impact of that will be tremendous for human health. And then 2.6 billion if you can use AI algorithms instead of paying people to do that, and you've shortened the time, you've also dramatically shortened the cost. And this company In Silico Medicine did come up out of 30,000 possibilities that the GANs came up with. They came up with a single candidate drug that advanced into animal testing, and so far the results have been promising. Now, of course, there's a long way to go after that to get through human testing and all that, but this is a breakthrough using AI, deep learning, and GANs to develop drug candidates. I can tell you for sure that this technology has played a huge role in the current COVID pandemic in getting 6 to 8 vaccine candidates into human trials in a matter of months. This has never happened before. I think I mentioned that in one of my other videos, but you really got to understand that there would be no vaccine for COVID if it weren't for AI. Why do I say that? Well, the disease would have run its course before a vaccine would develop. For example, the Spanish flu. The Spanish flu circulated in the global population for about 3 years before it died out. And by the way, that's what we can expect with COVID, absent a vaccine. But for 3 years, Spanish flu circulated before it really started dying out, and the frequency of new infections really fell off to the point where life sort of went back to normal. Now, that was 100 years ago. So It would have taken even longer than this 10 years and a huge money to develop a vaccine. But you can see immediately that if the disease ran its course in 3 years and it took 10 years to develop a vaccine, that the effort was abandoned before it was anywhere near successful, because the flu had died out, the Spanish flu. COVID, on the other hand, this technology and others has dramatically accelerated vaccine development to the point of months, and is going to lead to a viable vaccine within the lifespan of that pandemic. So this is all new in this year 2020. The second thing I wanted to mention to you is in the surgical area. So Dr. Tejas Patel has successfully performed multiple long-distance heart surgeries using a robot. So his patients were more than 20 miles from him, where he performed 5 surgeries using Corindus's CorePath GRX robot. And this is, again, truly revolutionary. And as I've explained before, robotics is heavily dependent on AI for this kind of teleporting medicine, especially at the level of surgery. So we've talked before about converging technologies. Robotics and AI are obviously one. Drug development and AI are another. And you can look for more and more of this in 2 respects. First is more and more surgeries over the next decade to 2030 will be done robotically, ending with most of them being done by a robot, most likely. And also, this technology will eliminate the rural health gap. So to get to a top heart specialist like Dr. Patel, who they're always in urban areas because of the volume of patients, now someone in the future will be able to routinely be operated on remotely. So this is going to change the whole structure. Unfortunately, and it's very unfortunate, a lot of rural community hospitals have already gone out of business because of changes in the economics in the healthcare system. But setting that aside, this move to robotic surgery and remote robotic surgery is going to further disrupt the existing rural health system. Why? Because you just won't need it. I mean, first of all, routine care can be done over a smartphone or a computer, which is already dramatically accelerated thanks to COVID-19. But more than that, if you can do your surgeries remotely, then all you need is a small surgery center without a huge medical facility in rural areas. That's a game changer. And the third area where AI is affecting medicine is in bioprinters. So we've talked about 3D printing, another converging technology with AI. And out of UCSD, University of California at San Diego, they have been 3D printing spinal implants. What does that mean? Well, these spinal implants have the eventual potential to heal paralysis. How about that for a game changer? Even if it takes another decade to perfect that, wouldn't that change the world? People who are paralyzed suddenly regaining use of their limbs. In a parallel area, they're bioprinting eyes and giving eyesight back to people who were previously blind. So these areas of technology in using AI in multiple areas of medicine are already producing profound changes, but that will be nothing compared to the next decade. In the next decade, we've talked about nanobots. There's many, many things on the horizon that you can expect within this decade that will completely revolutionize healthcare. So just like self-driving trucks and cars that we talked about as an update in the last one, I'm going to be constantly updating the field of medicine and AI because it's going to change very, very quickly from now on. So thanks for listening. If you like this, please like it. If you really like it, subscribe, please, and share it with your friends. Let everyone learn what's going on with AI in medicine, because this is going to affect every single person alive. So go on and share it and let everyone know what's happening. Thanks so much, and talk to you on Tuesday.